Okay, what up, ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here, and sorry I'm a bit late today. It has been a tiring day, but don't worry, we are here now. For today's TFD section, right? I know that a lot of people have wanted to discuss this because the news of the Onslaught mode coming in the April 16th update dropped recently on social media, and I'm sure that this will hopefully, do something for the game. That being said, the atmosphere around this discussion is probably what we want to assess because a lot of people feel both ways about this. Is it going to save the game? Is it not going to save the game? All that kind of jazz. So if you guys want to know what's actually going to be happening, I've actually pulled up the data here. All right, so let me just take a look at that. Hey, Austin, good to see you. Okay, so according to this, there's going to be some system changes coming on April 16th. I've heard that mutant cells are going to be removed, and players will now directly select mutant cells instead. It's part of a larger arcade tuning renewal. All right, the fragmented box drop system is being replaced with a clearer node-based selection system for easier tracking and progression, I guess. There's also some social improvements coming. World chat categories are being added. Quality of life updates, an in-game guide will be added, which we already have. It's called the library, but I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, hopefully that just helps the new player experience. Like from my perspective, that would probably help them the most. Onslaught Mode Beta is confirmed to be launching on April 16th. There's a teaser video posted on April 7th. This is a 4-player wave defense endless style challenge mode. Now, it's the beta test with the full release expected in May 2026. Devs have tied this to addressing endless content and core loop feedback from the April 2nd dev talk. Now, the big problem that we discussed and that I haven't posted the video on because I've been so busy, but I do want to post the video on that as soon as possible, so please bear with me. I'm very sorry. I'm adapting to a new schedule that is much more intense than before, not only in terms of music creation. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been dropping a lot of tracks recently and working on a lot of tracks while also taking on a new side project, as well as some other work in order to make ends meet right now because, as you know, things are tough for me right now. But the new side project is going well. I'm spending I wouldn't say a significant amount of time on it, but I'm spending enough time that it's giving me some fun results. But here are the facts that I do want to talk about. The concern that we talked about in the last stream was not only in terms of endless mode. It was more so that the content currently available in the game is highly repetitive. I will have this video up actually tomorrow, but if you go through the video, which I will, or if you go through the live stream in case, you have the time, you'll actually see that we went through every single mission in the game, and every single mission in the game, including the last 4 operations that were just released. That is to say, if we look at the map, the last 4 operations released were Supermassive Receptor, Forbidden Sanctuary, Exposed Underwater Base, and Legion Laboratory. All of them were exactly the same in terms of operation. There was actually minimal to no difference because all it consisted of was simply running through the mission as quickly as possible, slaying as many enemies as possible without any real additional objectives or anything to really get in our way, and then finally you kill the big boss at the end for a reward. This is the formula for the last 4 missions released, and considering the fact that they only release 1 mission per major update, which is usually once per month, this is not really a very good thing because all of these have been tied to, say, new weapons, new descendants that have been released, and every single one has been the same repetitive experience. You run them dozens and dozens of times in order to get the special material that only drops there or only drops in one other location to craft a new weapon or descendant, and this has been considered a rather negative gameplay loop. I understand the concerns of the people. I understand the concerns of the public in looking at this. Hey, Lewis. And I understand why everyone's worried because this is not exactly the most fantastic or encouraging thing that we have seen thus far. From my personal perspective, the only thing that I can say is that I thoroughly understand the concerns of the people. I thoroughly understand the concerns of the people because I recognize and realize that, yes, this is going to be a bit of a situation. I get it. I hear you. But what we also have to, I think, realize is that these devs have, like, the updates that are coming now are not knee-jerk reactions to what has occurred in the past. They're actually on a delay. All right, so things that we talked about, say 2-3 months ago, are what they're finally acting on now, probably because they have a plan or a system that they're gonna go through no matter what, and I don't know how quickly they can change the plan. This is actually something negative about Asian companies in general, because I've worked for one. When there's a plan, everybody sticks to the plan. They're not very good at changing or adapting to the plan. And that's kind of the problem that we're facing right here, because we are in crisis mode. All right, we are in crisis mode. For me, as the sole operator of my own business, I'm my only employee. So I can change the plan on the fly. The very second something doesn't work, I change the plan immediately. All right, I alter the plan. All right, I change the plan because I know that that's the best way to get things to work. Sometimes things simply aren't going to work. They aren't. You know, and you have to alter the plan. You have to say, okay, you know what, this isn't working, fine. Let me change it up. Let me just do something right now. It's money that will never happen because this is a character-based game. While you could make your own descendant, it would result in very difficult balancing, since your powers don't exactly come from a system, you know? And sir, if you are simply here to, you know, spout negative nonsense, you will simply receive a 24-hour chat ban. So envy, that's what's going to happen. Sir, let's keep a positive discussion, or rather, let's keep a civil discussion. I wouldn't even say positive because I expect negative opinions. But, you know, if you're just going to come into my chat like that, then we're simply going to escort you out, sir. All right. Now, the current situation, when we talked about missions being repetitive, is the main crux of the matter, and I think that they need to react to this immediately. Them reacting to the lack of so-called infinite or endless content is only going to patch a small part of the problem, because how long can you actually react to infinite content? How long can you actually play infinite content for? Even if you were to look at a situation whereby, oh, let's have a leaderboard, and I'm sure they're going to do this, because, you know, I'm sure they're going to implement some punk-ass leaderboard where say, okay, these 4 losers who play TFD every single day of their life with the most optimized modules ever made it to wave 350. You know, Austin and Robot only made it to wave 200 or something like that. They're probably going to have some stupid shit like that, right? Okay, well, that's great, but that is only going to keep people playing for a certain amount of time. The leaderboard chasers will chase it. Fine. Fantastic. That's lovely. Go ahead. But the actual people trying to enjoy the game are most likely not going to be at that stage of gameplay. They're not going to be at that level of gameplay. And what's going to happen is that they're going to get bored. It is indeed crazy, Austin, that it's come this far for them to finally take action. And look, I'm going to say fair is fair. I'm probably going to phone up Austin and Katie and be like, hey, you guys still play this game? And you know, maybe if Baron has time away from Conan one morning, you know, say, hey, can we form a 4-man squad and actually, you know, see how far we can get in the wave-based game mode? You know, let's get everybody together, you know, and do some Robot Nation shit for a while. I mean, at the very least, to me, it's a step in the right direction, because it's finally the first real team-based content that we can actually do together. If you think about it in that light, hey, finally we will have one mode, sir. We will have one mode where we can actually do some team-based shit together. Hey. Okay, step in the right direction. It's a step. It's a baby step, but it's a step in the right direction. After 6 months, yes, well, I mean, yeah, that is true. We first talked about this all those months ago, which is why I say I think they're working on a major delay. You know, it's the stuff that we talked about months ago that's getting implemented now, rather than the stuff we're talking about now getting implemented now. They're not good at shifting the plan. You know, this is the issue that I was talking about. They're not good at changing the plan. Everyone loses their minds, you know, once you go off the plan. You know? I don't know what you mean, Pollux. What do you think was an April Fool's joke? None of this is an April Fool's joke. This situation is absolutely serious. So you might have to elaborate your statement so we can understand better what you're trying to refer to. But anyway, what we need to do, or rather, what I want to hear from you is you guys, as in the chat in general, share your opinion, share your thoughts, because do you think the April 16th update is really going to save TFD? In case you guys did not know, yesterday, now I do understand that it was due to some other factors, but yesterday, we actually had one of the lowest peaks that we've ever experienced. We had a peak concurrent on Steam of 4,093. Yes, I am aware that this does not represent the amount of players that logged in at any one point in time during the day. But what we have to understand is that from February to March, we lost 30% of the average player base. And now in April, we are continuing to lose players. The trend should not continue downward by big percentages. If we were to ever dip below 4,000 players, that's going to spell a very, very negative picture for TFD, because the biggest problem it has right now is, in fact, audience retention. They are not retaining people because people are not excited to be gaming right now. All right? And why are people not excited to be gaming? I don't know. We've talked about mission repetitiveness. There are so many issues, so many glaring issues that need to be fixed. And it feels like, to me at least, if you ask my vote in the poll, I'd say that everything we are seeing now is simply a band-aid. We're not actually seeing a true solution, because it seems to me like they take so long to get to the solution that by the time they actually get to the solution, it's over. It's the only thing coming on April 16th, yes. Like I said, I believe that they released this as a bit of a... band-aid solution, because they realized right after Nexon basically told them, hey, this is your notice. Basically they're getting an eviction notice from Nexon, right? So they suddenly said, okay, Onslaught Mode coming on April 16th, and they posted about it. Of course, Richard. Have you seen the actual Nexon article? You can go and take a look at everything, but it is pretty much a fact that they said that TFD is a failure. They are not different things. I don't know why you see them as different things. If you care to explain your perspective, I'll happily take that into account, and we can have a little bit of debate. But any live service game that fails to have strong player retention, all right, basically the gold standard is, of course, the competitor, who I shall not name, but that is literally the competitor, right? So that competitor is the gold standard for retention on live service games. You can also take a look at adjacent games like World of Warcraft, other MMORPGs, things like that. But the fact of the matter is that when you don't have player retention, your game has failed, essentially. And pretty much every live service game assesses it on this basis. So yeah, that's why. Dario the artist, what do you think Serena's balancing will do for this game? Even if you balance Serena, right? Let me ask you a question, okay? And this is the question that no content creator, no person, no individual has ever been able to answer. Even if you balance Serena, do you remember the last time they balanced Ines? Because people said Ines was ruining the game, and she was so overpowered at the time that she ruined the game, right? Okay, so if balancing worked, then why did the player numbers drop immediately after Ines was nerfed? Even if they were to address Serena or gun balancing or anything else, this would not solve the core problem of the game. That's the problem, Dario. That's why it is not worth thinking about nerfs, balancing, reworks. These are not fixes for the core issue of the game. The core issue of the game, as has been, as we've discussed in previous streams, and as a lot of people have already agreed, the balance doesn't matter because the game itself is boring. Even if you balance characters, what are you going to do? You're still going to play the same missions over and over where there's only one thing to do, which is run straight to the end of the mission. And if you're not doing it with Serena, you're going to do it with Gley. If you're not doing it with Gley, you're going to do it with Daya. Do you see how the problem is? It's nothing to do with one Descendant being so strong or so much stronger than other Descendants, because guess what? It's not an issue when other Descendants can also do the same thing. The problem comes from the fact that the content is not engaging the audience. So while people talk about balance, balance did not help this game. Every single time there was a balance change, we did not see the player count go up, because it's literally not going to happen. All right. I'm not sure why you're asking this question, though, Pollux. Did you miss all of my previous streams? If you have missed my previous streams, you might want to actually check it out because there were some really, really interesting discussions there. I highly encourage you to watch them. Enemy mechanics and bosses, we've also discussed this in the video, so you might want to go and check those out because it was a very long discussion, and rehashing it here would be obviously not very efficient since it's not today's topic. But what I would say is that adding enemies, bosses, that by itself is not a solution. It's, again, the core concept of engaging content. It's not necessarily content that's hard. It's content that is engaging. You know, Wire Psycho White, you're right. If there's only one-time rewards for Onslaught Mode, people are going to throw it out straight away because nobody's going to want to play that. It has to be good rewards, and even if we have an endless mode, what is the end game purpose? You see, it might engage people for a while, and that's pretty much what me and Austin were talking about earlier. It might engage people for a while, but it's not going to engage them long term. That's the issue. That is a major issue. Yeah. Yep. The game is in this state, and I do agree, GG, because they cater to super casuals, and the game is hurting. Well, Nanento, even if that rework is coming in May, again, if it's not content that engages the audience, then we, the players, are simply being left here waiting forever for something that's not going to actually fix the game. I pray to God one of these updates are actually going to fix the game because I don't see it. I don't see it happening. You know? I don't think a story arc will help either, and I'll tell you why. It may sound like I'm just shooting down your ideas, but a story arc, even if they added it into the game, is going to be something that a player is going to complete within anywhere between 1 to 5 hours. And as soon as they're done with the story, there is nothing further for them to do, so they leave. In order to solve the player retention issue, player retention issue that Nexon is so concerned about, if you want to solve this issue, it has nothing to do with a story arc. These are all little sprinkles on top of the ice cream. The problem is that the ice cream is freaking corn flavor or some unnatural flavor instead of a good flavor like chocolate. It's not even vanilla. Okay, before you put the toppings on the ice cream so that you can enjoy the ice cream, the base ice cream needs to be good, right? That's where they're going wrong. And I agree with the fact that they've catered too much to the casual player base to the point that they have nothing in this game that can actually engage the audience, because there isn't. There isn't anything in this game that's actually engaging the audience at all. In any way, shape, or form, it's really not engaging them. I agree, GG, that dumbing it down to that level does indeed make the gameplay boring, but the problem is what they reacted, and this was the problem, they reacted with a knee-jerk to the people. How many of you remember when Void Erosion first came out? Because Austin was there, right alongside me. He was right there alongside me. Void Erosion first came out. Level 30 was so damn difficult, and back then you couldn't even use skills. You had to use guns, right? So we played Void Erosion level 30, and we were struggling our way through it, and we had to upgrade our guns to unbelievable levels, you know, just to get shit done. That's what we had to do. That's what we had to do, you know? That's what we had to do at the time. Hey, Baron, good morning. So, at the time, we had to do that shit. And before, I still remember Void Erosion Purge. Before Austin was working on a build that he said, you know, Robot, this build for this weapon is absolutely going to smoke the hardest difficulty level. You know, this is what we actually need. And we were working on that. He was trying to get perfect rolls. And before he had even finally gotten the perfect rolls on his weapon, they actually nerfed it down so that it was easier for the average person to do it. The average person, meaning literally the most silly person on the planet who doesn't even have a proper build, so that he can get carried by his super awesome friend who is buying every single outfit in the game, right? So that's what happened, because I remember exactly what happened then. That's exactly what happened then, and it caused the problem. It caused the entire issue because they would react straight away, you know, that they would react straight away as soon as somebody cried and said, "Nah, new activity hard. Daddy, it's too hard. Cut my ribs for me, Daddy." Like, why would they do that? The smart thing would have been for them to say, you know, "Listen, son, life ain't always fair, and life ain't always easy. And sometimes, you know, in life, you gotta actually pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get shit done. Are you gonna let some game beat you, or you gonna go beat the game?" Right? They didn't say that. No, they said, "Oh, honey, oh, precious, let me cut your ribs for you." And this is what happened. This is why we are in that situation. And Dario, I'm so sorry, but please do not bring up the competitor. Not because I actually care about this game having competition, but I'm going to tell you right now that it invites trolls. So if you want to talk about it, just call it the competitor. Yeah, I'm going to have to remove the message. You can feel free to retype it, but we must never mention the competitor here. I really don't want to deal with the trolls, and I really don't want to have to ban people and all that kind of nonsense. So if you want to talk about the competitor, just call it the competitor, and it's fine. Well, GG, thanks. The fact of the matter is that, like I said, regardless, it's not going to solve anything. So anytime right now that anyone wants to talk about nerfs, it is meaningless waste of time. Because any time that they spend thinking about rebalancing and nerfs is time they are not spending. You know, it is time that they are not spending actually getting this game into the playable state that it needs to be in. You know? Absolutely, Kyle. I don't disagree with your statement. You basically had to push the trigger of Last Dagger for 10 minutes, but it was the first hard content in the game. I'm sure that given enough time, you know, people would have figured out alternative methods. Yes, a lot of people did default to what we believe is the easiest method, but we needed to give people time to figure stuff out. They didn't do that. As soon as, you know, something was hard, it was brought down immediately, which is the issue. There was no time to figure anything out. By the time Austin had one gun build ready to go, and, you know, we was going to try it out, because he tried it out first, because, I mean, he understands that I do multiple games, and at the time, TFD was my main game, so I was spending just as much time on that as other games, but of course, I still had other games and other projects on my plate. So he was trying to help me out, and by the time he even got to the point where he was trying to, like, he had something to help me out, the whole thing got nerfed, and I didn't even need it in the first place because the whole thing was nerfed. It gets ridiculous. Do you see that is the problem? So yeah, and Warmu, I agree with the sentiment of your statement. Endgame isn't always what you can do for yourself, but how you can join and help others. But this does not promote actual co-op play. That's the problem. There is no incentive for the majority to help people. So while there might be a small 5% of honorable individuals who would absolutely go out of their way to help people, and I love those kinds of people because they're awesome, but you got to understand that this does not help player retention either. This does not help player retention because people, most people, 90% of people, or okay, let's be fair. 80% of people need incentives to do something, and they're not being incentivized. They're not being engaged to do something, which is kind of the problem. If they were engaged and incentivized to do it, they absolutely would. But they are not in that state right now. Well, the trade system is a separate issue, and currently it is not something worth considering because even if we fix the trade system, it does not engage players. Even if you give every player every single thing, and even if you called your friends up and you gave all your friends everything, they would be bored within 2 weeks because you have helped them achieve the only thing they had to do in this game, which is grind. And then once they have all the characters, you can help them build those characters, and then they'll realize that all they can do is literally play those characters in the same missions over and over. So again, right now, I'm a very strong proponent. I'm not saying your ideas are bad, guys. These are really, really good ideas. Please don't misunderstand me. But I do have to say that these ideas are treating the symptoms, not the main problem. We're not solving the virus. We're not solving the main sickness in the game. We're not curing it. What we're curing is the symptoms. We're not, you know, getting rid of the flu. We're treating the cough. We're treating the runny nose. We're treating the red eyes. But we're not, you know, actually curing the patient of the flu. We need to cure the patient of the flu, and the flu is that there is no content to engage or excite the audience. Tell me, how many of you guys are excited to play TFD every day? How many of you actually feel like, man, if I'm not playing TFD right now, I'm wasting my time? Because that's how I feel about Crimson Desert right now. I feel like today I just got so many cool new armor sets. I haven't even had time to upgrade them yet. I was just exploring, getting all the armor sets out of caves and shit, and I found some puzzles along the way. And right now, you know, I know that my viewership is less than 5 because most of y'all don't even watch me when I'm playing Crimson Desert, but I'll say this much. I feel like I'm wasting my time not playing Crimson Desert right now because, I'm missing out right now, you know? That's what I'm talking about. There is nothing to engage us. We need something to engage our minds. We need something to engage us. A guild system is good. This is also something that we've talked about for a long time. We've actually wanted, you know, something like that for a long time. But unfortunately, not only has that not happened after 2 years of this game being out, but there's also nothing for us to co-op on. Even if we have a guild system, all I can do is phone up Austin, and we're going to blow through a mission in 2 minutes because that's what our characters do. Well, Nanetto, you can pray. I don't think it'll bring you back for more than 2 hours, if you ask my honest opinion. Because you're going to see that it's literally the same content that we've had all this entire time. Maybe I'm being obsessively negative? Let's find out. Let's find out. Because, you know, I hope to God that I'm wrong. You know, because if I'm wrong, then good. This game survives and we do better. If I'm right, then we're freaking screwed. I knew he was going to mention Conan Ren. And Neko Mystery, you've played a lot of games like Crimson, you're bored of those? Well, good for you. But 200,000 people around the world concurrent are not bored of it at all. You know, we've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people playing Crimson every day like their life depends upon it, and we're still in Hernand. All right, so, you know. Listen, Emma Smith, that's completely fine, but that's what we have to do. If it's fun for you to watch, but you switch to another streamer, that's also cool. I don't expect you to be here, and I don't expect you to watch me either. Of course, we as streamers don't really like viewers like that because no loyalty. We're not about that. But what I will say is that that does not make it fun to watch. The fact of the matter is we are forced to do that because that's all we have. If there was something different in this game that allowed us to actually do different missions and allowed us to actually engage us and our audience, then of course we would do something different. But what do we have in this game that's any different? Are any missions in this game different at all? Let me ask you that. Is any mission in this game different? Because I will have a video tomorrow, and this is the same thing that we discussed on the last stream. Every single mission is played in the exact same way with zero difference between any of the missions in the game. Whether it's a special operation, a regular operation, or anything else. So in which case, you know, based on your own statement, I will see you and say goodbye to you here, Emma, because you're going to be gone in about exactly 32 minutes. So good luck and goodbye to you. But moving on from that, you know, since you only watch streamers for an hour, let's move on from that and let's talk about the next thing. What are we actually doing? Everybody is having suggestions here. That's great. But do you see the core issue now? Do you see the core issue now? We have one mission. We have one thing to do in this game. This is what I'm talking about. We need to treat this issue. Nerfs, balancing, guilds, trade system, all of these are not relevant until we fix the core issue. That's where we need to focus our attention. We need to get the devs to sit up, stand up, and actually say, hey, we're going to fix the problem of engagement. We are not being engaged. The audience is not being engaged. The viewers are not being engaged. The players are not being engaged. No one is being engaged. And whether you watch one streamer or another streamer or somebody else or play it yourself, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because they're all doing the same things. We're all doing the same things. We're all doing the exact same thing on the hour, every hour, because that's what the game is. There's only one thing to do. New elements, all this, waging war. Waging war is the only thing that I could say could potentially treat the problem. Because if we had a different mode that, you know, really felt like a war and made us actually want to interact with and engage with the game, that is something that would actually make us feel a lot better. It would actually make us feel like logging in and playing. but new elements would not, because it's still new elements in the same game. People will play with the new toy for about 2 hours and then they're going to get bored. So again, can't treat the symptom, we got to treat the illness. We already have those events, and we already have, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. They tried memes and humor. It didn't really work out very well because these are all side things. Great ideas, don't get me wrong, but they're all just side stuff. The problem is the core. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face until everybody gets it. The side issues are not the issue. We need to solve the main issue. The Descendant stories are good. I don't disagree. I actually really like them. But they're too short, and that's all we get for 3 months. That's kind of the problem. If we got more than just a basic-ass story for 3 months, people would probably feel more positively about it. If they were consistently updating the story and updating their world to feel like a living, breathing world, then I think that that would be perfectly fine and fantastic, because that's what we're missing right now. All right? That's what we're missing right now. That could have some engagement, Ninetto. I would say that that could have some engagement value, but that would be like a supplement to the main thing. We still, I think, need to fix the main problem. But, you know, yeah, if we do that, I can actually agree with that. That's actually pretty darn fantastic, and I can live with that. The trade system not working is an understandably annoying issue, and it will continue to be an understandably annoying issue, because that's just what it is. The entire trade system is a boring mess. And I feel that they implemented it backwards. I was actually talking with somebody else the other day, and I mentioned this exact thing. I said that the way that they implemented the trade system is backwards. Rather than trading the ancestor modules and trigger modules, we should have only been able to trade everything else in the game, like blueprints and stuff like that. Not even for Caliber. If they wanted, they could do it for Caliber, but we should have been able to do that, like all the blueprints and stuff, so that we could give stuff to our friends. When the trade system was implemented, I feel that they did it backwards, in my personal opinion. I felt that, you know, they went for what people could sell, you know, to try and make income, but they didn't really think about the fact that, hey, this is not exactly the greatest move in history. What's broken now, Lynx? Everything is broken. Everything in the game is broken. And thank you, Austin, for the lovely super chat. Rise of Power, please call it the competitor. Do not mention it by name, because I really don't want any of the trolls here, but I get what you're saying. You guys can feel free to rewrite your messages if I have to remove them, but look, please do not mention the competitor by name. I really don't want any of their community here, because it's going to create a it's literally going to just create a shitstorm, and I don't want that. You see, Neko Mystery, there should be a storyline, in my personal opinion, around the Colossi. I personally believe that they should do something with regards to that. It would be nice to have that, but I don't know why they've never really explored that. It just feels like they're a side thing, which to me is weird. All right, I feel that the Colossi is a very, very excellent direction to move the storyline in. But of course, you know, before we can even get to storyline, we do still need to fix the core issue of the game. You know, I'm all for storyline, don't get me wrong. I'm 100% all for storyline, but I think we still need to fix the core issue as well. Well, I'm sure that they will get deeper into it, but like I said, the fact that storyline only progresses every 3 months is the big problem, because somebody's already mentioned that their stories are really, really good, you know? That's also my issue, Dario. I don't know what would be the incentive to run the new Onslaught mode. What is the incentive? To play infinitely with your friends? That could be one incentive, but that's going to get boring real quick because it's just the same thing over and over. Like I said, all I can do is phone up my squad and be like, hey, Katie, Austin, you know, maybe even Rena, if he's of a mind to do it when I'm streaming, do you think you could come on and, you know, play the new infinite mode with me? You know, let's do some infinite mode and just see how far we get. You know, we could do something like that. We could do something like that. But beyond me phoning up my people to do it, what is the actual incentive? What are we actually doing here? Because I'm not seeing it. See, and that's the issue that I have. That's the issue and problem that I'm facing, because I want to know. I want to know what is the incentive for anybody at all to participate in the endless mode. Daya is, of course, very good. Have you tried my build for her? She is the game on easy mode and very, very convenient for farming. Gley, of course, can do the same thing. The whole thing, and thank you guys, I'll be playing some of my new music in a little while, or maybe music that you guys request. You know, I'll happily play some of that soon. We'll take some radio breaks in between our conversations. But this is why me and Austin were saying, balancing and nerfs, none of this is relevant, because what Serena can do, other Descendants can do as well. It's nothing to do with balancing at this point, and all to do with content and engagement. I have a build for everything, Jamel. Anytime I actually play a character, I will publish a build. So far, I only played 2 characters, Gley and Daya this season. Both of them have their builds out, including the weapon builds that you need. Go follow those videos and you're good to go. You never need to ask me whether I have a build out. If you see me playing the character, the build is out. Unless it says that I'm testing the build, which will be declared to you guys in the stream title. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Look forward to the music very, very soon. I appreciate all of it. Lewis, Baron. Dwarven stuff? Yeah. Not a problem, not a problem. I'll have you guys sorted. Oh, I'm actually going to be doing it. I'm just waiting for the discussion potential streams to die down, because the build streams don't get as much attention. So right now, while the iron is hot, Austin, I'm just trying to make as much money as I can by doing the discussion streams, because they do have higher viewership and, of course, more potential for revenue. Because everybody is concerned about these things. Everybody is worried about their favorite game. And I know that many of you would not like to see TFD die. We're not here to make TFD die. A lot of people think that criticizing it is akin to being the devil, but quite frankly, we're not here to be the devil. We're here to be the devil's advocate. We're here to talk about the things that other people don't want to talk about because they're scared. There could be a lot of ideas like that. Wiremu, all of these are viable ideas, but again, none of these awesome storyline or plot ideas will work if we don't have the core. If we don't have the core basis. What is the core basis? What is the core basis? The core basis is that missions aren't engaging. If missions aren't engaging, then any point of discussion doesn't matter. And it's nothing to do with what Serena can do that other people can do. The problem is how fast she does it. Other Descendants are just as fast too. Other Descendants are just as fast. The only difference is that I don't make requirements for my builds to have perfect Ancestor modules. If I had like full red stat Ancestor modules with maxed out stats, I could do this even faster. But that is besides the point. That is not the issue. Anything that Serena can do, other Descendants can do just as fast, if not faster. So she's not the queen bee of everything. But people use her as a scapegoat, much like they used Ines as a scapegoat in the past. Before the Ines nerf, I had proven several times that what Ines could do, other Descendants could do just as quickly. Alright, there were several situations in which Ines wasn't even the best. And I had shown that live on stream. Yet people still cried that Ines is the one that should be nerfed. She was nerfed, and what happened immediately after that? People straight up quit the game because their favorite waifu got nerfed. It's not a matter of nerfs. And if the content is a problem, then we already have the answer. The issue is the content itself. Balancing, the reason they're struggling so much with balancing is that they refuse to acknowledge the content issue. And the content issue is that every bit of content is the same. What have you seen me do over the past few missions? It's exactly what Emma says bores her, right? You just see me run one mission over and over because that's all we have to do. I mean, you spend your money your way, Ryza, but, well, you're gonna be pretty sad when End of Service comes out. I would not recommend spending. I mean, up to you, though. The wait for things to be done is also not gonna solve any issue because even the wait for things to be done system is working for its competitor. I'm pretty sure the competitor still has that system. And yet there's no gripes about it and they've got a way higher player base. So what's the problem? The problem is not that system at all. The problem is lack of engagement. People are not engaged. Ultimate Descendants, I feel that they're wasting their time. The fact that they're releasing new ultimates and things like that, none of this actually changes anything. It's literally just an excuse for them to make very, very overpowered modules, transcendent modules, and then call it a day. You know, that's laziness. That's not creativity. And that's what's causing the problem. And Rafa, you're absolutely right. So once you actually finish my build, it gets a lot stronger. That's the best part. And that's the whole reason why some people whine. Because they say, character too strong. Hoo hoo hoo. But the fact is, power fantasy has never been a problem. We're not trying to strip away power fantasy. The problem is, there is nothing for us to do outside of power fantasy. I just one-shot a boss and move on, right? Nobody's gonna care about the male characters, and we all know this from the very beginning. You know, nobody will ever care about the male characters because they don't excite people, and people don't come for that. Literally, the only ones left playing are the gooners, in fact. And, of course, the ladies are so much stronger than the guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Descendant and Arcade Powers may as well be a female-exclusive thing. There's a small fraction of the player base still playing male characters. You know, they say, oh my god, the male characters are still strong, they're still good. You know, they have fun in their own way, and that's alright. You know, let them. That's cool. I value diversity. But the fact of the matter is, most people are here for the ladies. And they're going to keep being here for the ladies. Whether people want them to be or not. Every looter shooter is repetitive, but the fact of the matter is, it comes down to exactly what you said, though. You get bored, right? Then everybody feels the same way. You cannot bore your player base. And the fact is, if every looter shooter is repetitive, then how is the competitor, the #1 competitor, not talking about the competitor called Destiny 2 that's dying, the #1 competitor, which we can't even name, because their player base is literally rabid, how are they somehow managing to still pull in, okay, concurrent numbers that are absolutely insane? I'll tell you how. It's not about repetitive content. Content can be repetitive, but it can be engaging. If it's repetitive but engaging, then the repetitiveness is not the problem. It's the engagement. And the fact that you can be engaged with the content, you can feel something about the content. You can feel like, hey man, I feel great playing this content. That's what we are missing. And that's what we are lacking. They will never do that because they know it won't sell. And anybody who talks about making the males cool, you know it doesn't sell. Nobody cared when Jaber got his rework and he was actually cool. You know, I had a Jaber build that a lot of people were deploying in several missions because he was cool for a short duration of time. Well, listen, joking Semi, they actually did. You can fact check that for yourself. All right. Why don't you take a break from my chat? Why don't you get out of my stream and go actually check it? You can go search up every article. Nexon labels TFD a failure. Every single news outlet was talking about it because guess what? They actually said that during their quarterly meeting. Their actual statement as well includes the fact that it literally has a strong launch but no staying power. These are actual quotes. I suggest you go educate yourself by going and actually looking at the thing. And if you're worried about hate being on your feed, this is not hate. We're doing this out of love. Criticism is not hate, and that's what you snowflakes need to realize. You want this game to die? Carry on. Keep praising it. Keep praising it like I see all the people on Twitter being all like, oh my God, give it time to cook, guys. Come on, it's a new game. It's 2 years freaking old. It's not a new game. You know it, I know it. All right, even a 2-year-old isn't going to believe that lie. So if I'm pissing you off, come here and say something to me, joking Semi, you know? I dare you. Tag me in social media. Go make your own video about me and tell the world about how much I'm pissing you off, all right? Shoot me in the streets if you want to, because I really don't give a damn. I am somebody who is a proponent of the truth, all right? If that pisses you off, you know, then hey, go for it. I will keep pissing you off. I will keep pissing off every single snowflake that tries to defend this game with false positivity. Because false positivity doesn't do shit for the people. I stand for the people. I am their voice, whether you like it or not. And I'm still going to be here, being their voice, whether you whine about it, whether you cry about it, whether you tell me that, you know, you shouldn't be hating on the game. Do I look like I'm hating on the game to you? Because if that's the case, then your parents have never spanked you before in your life. You have never received negative criticism before in your life. And you're probably never going to amount to much if you go through school with that attitude. Because guess what? Your professors are going to tell you the same damn thing. They're going to tell you that you need to buck up and get shit done. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm so sorry, Pavel. Can you speak English? Because this is a purely English stream. I'm required to make everybody communicate only in English. I'm very sorry about this, but yeah, we are an international stream, so English is the conversation language. My apologies. So I hope you don't mind that, yeah? Well, Dario, you're right about that. That's the exact thing. Emma, nobody calls me Asian because that can sound kind of racial. Call me robot. Everyone calls me robot. You know, I always wonder why people, like, okay, look, it's in my name, yes. But really, is a person's race the first thing you think about calling them? It would be better if you actually called somebody by their name, right? So, call me by my name. Just call me Robot, RAR. Other people do that. Nobody calls me Asian, dude. Come on. It's 2026. Surely we can be a bit more respectful about things like that, yeah? And do not speak about that game here, all right? I have no interest in it. We don't talk about the competitor here. Let's focus our discussion on TFD. Now, coming back to discussion, because I think we've derailed a bit. All right. Proper rewards for engagement is indeed the most important thing. All right. If we do not get proper rewards for engagement, if we're not rewarded for our time, then we don't feel that our time is being spent well. This is in fact exactly, as Dario says, what the competitor is doing well. All right, the competitor is doing this well because when people feel incentivized to play, when people feel like they should be playing, you know, they will play. They will engage. You know, that's what people want. They want to be given something to engage with. So far, I think that TFD has fallen short in that regard. And if they were to change that, then all the other amazing ideas that you guys have come up with, you know, all the other amazing ideas that people have come up with will be feasible. I'm talking about guilds. I'm talking about, you know, the ideas of reworking the Colossi. I'm talking about, you know, missions that can really make us feel awesome and epic. Like, all of this would be super epic, you know? Nick Austin is our resident expert on what to invest in with Serena, and I believe that he has mentioned it's the Kingsguard Lance. All right. But right now, my Serena build is not out, so you can either wait for that or invest early. And I'm so sorry, Pavel. We have to time you out. We are an English-only stream, so you will need to speak English only. If you do not speak in English, then unfortunately I cannot allow you to participate in the discussion because it's not fair to the rest of the audience. Emma, no. The message was removed because you called me by my race. I don't know if you paid attention to what I said, but please do not address me by my race. Please call me by my name. My name is Robot. Everyone calls me by that. I didn't say that was a competitor. Your message was not removed because of that. So please pay attention. Austin, we just mentioned that Serena's ideal weapon right now is Kingsguard Lance. That's all. You don't have to worry about it if you are busy with work, because I know you're listening at work. The content of the April 16th update is mainly two things. One is the system change, whereby Mutant Cell items will be removed, and the Onslaught Mode will be released in beta form, with the final release coming in May. Oh, if you're off today, then you've got no excuses not to be paying attention. Then in that case, I can't help you. I'll just leave you to pay attention and respond appropriately. All right. Now, the super chatters so far are Austin, Lewis, and Baron. Baron wants some dwarven stuff. So we'll have a little bit of a music break before we carry on with our show. Give you time to gather your thoughts and also say your pieces. All right. But Austin, Lewis, if you guys have requests or you just want to hear my new stuff, you let me know. All right. We'll be playing something a little dwarven for our dear friend Baron. All right. So if you guys are ready, let's have a little bit of a music break. You're listening to Robot 95 FM. I make every single song myself, but of course the real fans will know that, and the unreal fans, well, screw them, right? They're not important. All right, so make sure to support my music if you like my tracks here. Let's have a little bit of a thunderous drinking song.
By the beard of me father!
This one's for Baron out there.
Are you ready to drink like kings? We've delved the deep dark, where the ancient fires burn, hammered gold and mithril since the dawn of the world. Now the forge is quiet and the day's work is done. It's time for the ale and the rowdy good fun. We are the Mountain Kings, the Mountain Kings. We ale in our bellies and fire in our veins. Stomp your boots hard till the whole mountain rings. Dwarves drink like legends, okay, and it's pain. We are the Mountain Kings. The bonny dwarf lassies are giving us the eye. We beards full of foam and a wink say sly. We'll lift up our tankards and tell a few lies about the battles we've won and the lasses we've prized. We'll drink till we stagger, we'll drink till we fall, then piss like a waterfall against the stone wall. 1 pint for the hammer, 1 pint for the hammer, 2 pints for the stone, 2 pints for the stone, 3 pints for the brothers who never drink alone. Drink, yay, bastards, drink, hey! When the dragons come calling or the goblins attack, we'll meet them with axes and never turn back. But tonight in this hall we are mighty and free. The Mountain Kings forever, as long as there's ale to be. We are the Mountain Kings, Mountain Kings. We ale in our bellies and fire in our veins. Stomp till the mountain itself starts to sing. Dwarves rule the deep, now scream it again. We are the Mountain Kings. Okay!
Alright, that was the Mountain Kings as part of Baron's request. Thank you very much for enjoying that. Alright, if you don't know medieval tavern music, then you need to play some more medieval games. Never played Kingdom Come Deliverance? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? You'll get pretty familiar with that kind of music. Also, I'm sorry that it did not put up the rules like it's supposed to. Just give me a second. The command should work. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why the command didn't work previously, but sometimes it just does that. Well, that was more Scottish than Irish, but yes, you might find a leprechaun. Now, we'll wait a while before we have another music break. Lewis, if you got something that you prefer, let me know. I know Austin's got no preference, so I'll probably play some of my new tracks and mess around with those. You're welcome. Also, an FYI, the only reason anyone would be sensitive to race stuff is because of YouTube's own policies. So, anytime you see somebody with a race in their name, just call them by their name instead of by the race. Probably is a lot better. That's a YouTube thing, but hey, that is entirely due to what YouTube and what America wants. So... Well, if you want me to upset Baron, then I'll leave it to you when you finally decide to super chat me, Lord Mugen. On the day you drop a super, you can request to have Baron be upset. Pavel, sir, I'm very sorry, but again, once again, look, I cannot allow you to chat here if you're not willing to speak English. This is part of our policy because we are an international stream. So, it's not fair to everybody if you are simply constantly speaking in, I don't know what language that actually is. So, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm very sorry about this. It's nothing against you, but it is a requirement that everybody speak English here. Alright, so if you're not going to speak English, then I cannot have you chatting here. Because it's not fair to the rest of my viewers, especially if they want to understand or engage with you in conversation. Alright, thank you, sir. I'm very sorry. If you really want to discuss this issue, I recommend using YouTube video comments, or you can try and find a content creator that speaks your language, and then maybe it'll be a lot easier for you to communicate with them and the audience and have a fruitful discussion in that manner. Utility kilts, Baron. Well, that's a whole new level of dwarven carpenter right there. But you are a craftsman, so understandable. Your English is normal. Not broken at all. I think that's fine. At least from what I'm seeing you write, your English is totally normal. I don't think I see any broken English. And heck, even broken English is fine, but as long as it's in English and we can understand what you're saying, it's fine. The only rule, unfortunately, is that when we cannot understand what the person is saying, we need to get them back onto the language of the stream. And because the stream's language is English, I usually have to sort of enforce that. Again, it's a YouTube policy rather than anything we care about. Like, because Twitch doesn't have such rules like this. So, honestly, if it was Twitch or whatever, I'd just let him say whatever he wanted, but yeah. No, if you're just messing with me, that's fair enough. You're almost as bad as Katie. I wonder if you're her friend or something. She talks exactly like that too. Oh, right, I have to kill this guy. I was wondering, why isn't this thing progressing? I have to murder this guy. Forgot about him. If she's not sleeping at this time, I would be quite worried for her. She is a good friend, and I worry for my friends, obviously. Right now is her sleep time. She's actually not a mod, but she is one of my greatest friends and also someone who, like Rena, is here every single day to support. Like Rena and Austin, actually, I should say. A mod is a man with the blue shield. He has the power to annihilate people from the atmosphere. He has an orbital cannon, and his name is Rena. Although this mod of mine sometimes trolls people, but unfortunately, even if Rena trolls you, the rule of the stream is that you need to listen to mods, so what can you do about that, right? Mods are also something you attach to a character, yes. So if you ever got a Rena mod, you would somehow have authority to ban people. It's a pretty strong mod, you know? It's one of them transcendent mods. Yeah, of course. Any build that you see me play, Demolisher, if I'm playing the build, I have released the build. I released this build as soon as Dia came out. You can just check it on my channel. Remember, anytime that you see me play a character, there's a build for it. If I do not have the build yet, then the stream will say testing build. Which is why the next time, once all this controversy dies down, and we find out whether our game will hit end of service, once all that dies down, alright, you'll see testing Austin's Serena build, because I actually have everything I need to build it. I was looking at it today. I want to build it, but I want to do these discussion topics first. Well, she is the character for this season, so yes, she is strong. Most characters are pretty strong in the season that they're released. I'm pretty sure it was a strategy by them to try and improve sales or whatever. But Dia only took about 2 streams to farm, so about 5-6 hours at most. Wasn't really that long, so anybody can just farm it. What other games do I play? Keep watching me every single day, and you'll find out. If you become a regular, you'll see. You'll see. I play many things. And that's how you find out about your streamer. Markiplied, lol. That's a nice name. Greetings. Welcome to the stream. We'll have another music break soon, fam. But before that, we'll have a short discussion. What time do I get on? I have a command for that too, actually. Ta-da! But the schedule is actually wrong because I'm usually a bit late these days. Mostly because I'm taking care of my mom after her eye treatment for cataract, and also I've been working on my side project. So although it says 12:45 to 4 p.m., it's usually more like 1:10 to 4 p.m. roughly, and the night stream is usually around 11:10, 11:15. Unfortunately, we just had a very busy few days, but I'm trying to get back on schedule. That's my schedule, though. I'm trying to return to the schedule, attempting it, you know? But somehow my attempts have been thus far thwarted. Now let's take a quick check-in with the polls first before we play some more music for you guys. After Nexon's comments, will the April 16th update fix TFD? So far, 18% of people have said yes. 23% of people have said no, it's just band-aids. 34% of people, say it's too early to tell. And 25% say needs way more than this. Yeah, I really should do that too, Rena. I will try and update it when I have time. All right, Markiplied. I appreciate the humor, but, look, regardless, I have a general policy here that we don't talk about other content creators and things like that. Doesn't matter whether positive or negative. We just don't do that because it's just not nice. And, we would like to focus on stream topics. So welcome to the show. I'm just going to remove that last comment. Okay. I'm going to have to remove all those comments. You'll be able to chat again in 1 minute. Keep your discussions to TFD. All right, let's keep this all to TFD, and we'll carry on there. Oh, he got banned by Rena. Okay, well, goodbye. But yes, anyway, yeah, let's keep the discussions to TFD. All right, let's focus on the topics here, because I think that that's much more important and fair to everybody who is here for the topics. So yeah, I do hope that they will pull things together. But it's good to know that most people are at least saying it's too early to tell. That, to me, I look at as a positive sign because, hey, if people are saying it's too early to tell, good. Good. That means that there's a chance. There's a chance, at least, that people are going to, be drawn back with this upcoming update. Fingers crossed. Okay, fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. The Ren Hammer, indeed, right? So don't break the rules, and you won't get the Ren Hammer. But anyway, I do hope. Like I said, I do hope. I still hope for this game to do well because I feel that this game has just been under so much fire, and that the devs really haven't found an opportunity to pick themselves up. They haven't really gotten a chance to really settle things or actually do anything. Rena. Come on, even if you're my mod, come on. Clean stream, bro. What the hell? Oh, goddamn. I was wondering when the classic Rena would show himself. Like, really, brother? Really? You had to pull that out? Really? Was that the moment? Was that really the moment? Was that really, really the moment to do that? Nah, Rena will never ban himself. He has actually gotten a timeout like once or twice, but very, very rare. So it's all good. Damn it. One second, just quickly addressing a notification. Okay. I'm telling you, we're gonna have a nice little, we're gonna have to have a nice little hip hop break, all right? Now, some of you might actually remember the song I'm gonna play. I just brought it into all new V5.5 version, so I hope you guys will enjoy it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do I have a favorite Descendant and favorite gun? No, I do not, actually. I rarely have favorites in any game that I play. I play just what I feel like playing or what's efficient, but I rarely, if ever, have favorites. That being said, if you ask me from a Gooner perspective, I also don't have a favorite anymore because, let's just say, my side project produces hotter stuff without being even half as lewd as TFD. Think about that for a second. It's actually gaining some traction right now, but of course I'm not going to reveal anything about that. Now then, quick music break, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoy this song.
Think. Moved in, I don't even blink in the scene. Drowning like, what do you think? I'ma be here putting up shots for the team from the east. Like a bridge in the tunnel, fumble, drop, don't stop when I stumble. Rumble, pack, hitting like it's thunder. Wonder how, keep this undercover. Gutter, snipe, woo, shooting up the box. Wasteland, that man, out of pocket. Up now, touchdown, couldn't stop it. Head to the sky, I'm a rocket, planet. Took off, I never planned it. Damn it, god damn it, I'm a bandit. Outlaw, and they can't stand it. I gotta know, is you really with the antics? Go, 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 go. Like, where the bag at? Hold on, I don't mean to brag, but ever since I got a pack, it was rap. I was selling out the back of the hatchback. Took off, she need the back. She like, why you act like that? I don't even know, but I'm past that. She keep going, need the back. If it don't come easy, it's a scam. Go against me, I'm the man. Gotta stick to the plan, put a pack in the can, I'm a brand. Bring the noise, yeah. I'm a new face with the same old voice. New flavor, I got too many choices. 2 lines, that's too many voices. How you gonna act so crazy? I was on the moon like I was born in the 80s. Cold outside, need a 380s. That's a fur coat, man, I do it on the daily. Before you ever met me, you hated me. Drove me insane, man, it all got me jaded. Now they wanna come and berate.
So I don't know how many of you guys remember my song Antics, but yeah, that's the new version of Antics. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed that. And you didn't expect gooning from me. Listen, I'm a healthy man, Emma Smith. I'm a very healthy man. There is no man on the planet that does not goon in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Alright, so I'll tell you right now, if anyone tells you they're not gooning, they're lying to your face. Every man's a gooner. It just depends to the degree. Now, me personally, my side project, it does involve art, but surprisingly, it has evolved to be significantly less gooner than TFD. At first, I thought it was going to be a gooner art project, but then I realized that I don't need to do that. So I'm actually focusing right now more on animation and art rather than the actual gooner side of things, but the girls are still very, very lovely. Because, I mean, why would I waste time making something ugly? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, at first it was going to be a gooner project, but after talking with lawyers and stuff, and especially with Singapore's legal restrictions, and also based on the performance of the TikTok, which has been doing really well, and TikTok has very strict regulations against that stuff. Since we realized that we were doing so well without any gooner shit, we were like, why do we have to do gooner shit and risk, risk some trouble when we can just do non-gooner shit and people still gonna love it? So yeah, we're gonna revamp the YouTube this weekend to move it away from the gooner side. Nope, the side project will never be linked. Sorry, it is strictly confidential. Some of you might discover it, but it has nothing to do with my name and brand right now. If it gets to 10,000 followers on TikTok, I will release it publicly. But so far, nobody will know about it. There are only 3 people right now. Sorry, 2. No, if I include my parents, 4 people in the whole world who know about it, and that's it. Nobody else knows about it. Nobody else needs to know about it. We are keeping it strictly its own brand and strictly its own confidential thing. I mean, I do talk about the fact that I do it because, for me, I'm a transparent kind of guy. I always tell people if I'm busy doing stuff, but, you know, I will not reveal anything about the project itself. So sorry, not sorry, but there'll be no disclosure. Unless I mess up one day and post to my main account, then some people might see it, but otherwise, most of the time we're very careful. It is pretty deep because we started with a plan. We had an idea, but the idea has evolved from NSF, like paid NSFW, which was the original intention, to like fully safe, like no need for anything 18 plus. You know, anybody of any age can view it, although technically speaking, the art itself is still beautifully done. So the more that I learned about animation and stuff, the more I was like, I don't have to do Gooner shit. I technically don't, because I'm like, people will still watch, like people still want to see stuff. So I'm like, I'm focusing now on the animation, making it more realistic, and also the storyline and scenarios. Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is TFD, man. This is TFD. If you're not playing a Gooner character in TFD, are you even a TFD player? No. You gotta have the most unclean skins when you're playing TFD, okay? It's just that I don't feel like buying the latest batch yet. I will if I see more super chats, but right now I'm just chili manjaroing on that, you know? Yeah, I'm growing to really love art too. The more I learn about it, the deeper it goes. But it's funny because I'm probably one of the only people that, because you always hear the stories, like people start out as like safe for work artists and they can't sell, so then they do not safe for work. I'm probably the opposite. So I wanted to start not safe for work for my project with safe for work for advertising. But the safe for work was going so well that I decided to scrap the not safe for work at all. Because either way, TikTok doesn't permit NSFW anyway. And if, like, what, X is going to be my only platform? Nah, it's too boring. So I want something that I can post on all platforms so I can show my work to everybody. So now, like I said, focusing more on animation, dialogue, storyline settings, and the characters I think are much more important, because at the end of the day, I think what people want to connect with is the characters, which also applies to TFD, funnily enough, guys. Bring the discussion back to TFD. We need to connect with our characters. We don't here. Now, again, I still believe firmly, as I said at the very start of this discussion, I firmly believe that the most important thing is engaging content. But here's something else that I want to talk about. Here's something else that I want to talk about, because when it comes to TFD, a lot of us don't really connect with our character. Gacha games have been extremely successful at marketing their waifus and husbandos for one simple reason.
Super chat received.
One reason only. All right, I'm going to say it right now. One reason only. And thank you for the super chat. I'll address it properly in a sec once I'm done with this mission. But gacha games have been so successful. Not that I want this game to be a gacha game, but gacha games have been so successful because have you noticed that every single gacha game, you can download any of them on the Play Store right now, all right? You know, you could watch some shitty advertisement on the Play Store where the dude is like, hey, guys, did you know that if you download this game through my link right now, did you know that you can get 1,000 free draws? Like, oh my god, you can get so strong. How did you get so strong? You got so strong because I downloaded it through this link from Real Asian Robot. Download this game now, okay? Arc Knights Evolved or some shit like that. And if you download it now with my code RAR17, you will get 1,000 free draws, right? You've all seen those shitty mobile ads, right? I even legit did the voice for you guys. Now, if you've seen that, when you actually play the game, what is the first thing that happens? You will go through some basic storylines, spend your energy and all that, and then there will be some kind of recreation center, all right, where you get to see the side story of your characters, some relaxing lounge poses, you know, some cute storylines. Those of you who've played Nikkei, Goddess of Victory, I'm sure you understand. It's still popular to this day because everybody who has money in the bank is loving their favorite 2D waifu. 2D waifu is what they're loving. You freaking kidding me? That's all they're into, right? But that's what works for people. That is what works for people. I wouldn't take that the wrong way. I completely understand it, you know? Everybody wants a character that looks like themselves or like their ideal fantasy. There's nothing wrong with that. All right? Everybody wants that. So I would never take that statement wrong, you know? It is what actually makes a person connect. The only problem, right, and the only reason that kind of statement provokes discussion is because a lot of people were using it as the reason to make ugly characters or characters that were diverse and representative without actually being amazing. It's okay to have diverse and representative characters. FYI, I'm not against that in video games, but there needs to be a reason for them. They cannot exist simply for the sake of existing. That's where a lot of modern day video games built for the so-called modern audience went wrong. It was nothing to do with what they tried to do, but that they tried to push ideals and characters that did not actually fit what the viewers wanted to see or what the storyline was supposed to be about. When a character is a particular way, simply because it is a marketing gimmick, players are going to see that. Players and viewers are going to say, this is a marketing gimmick, this is not me at all. But when a character legitimately makes you connect, you will love that character no matter what. And sometimes people grow to love characters because of the story behind them. Again, it's why in my own side project right now, I'm pursuing the storyline. Give you an example. Right now, one of my characters is a young influencer. She's not rich, but she's very hardworking. She recently got a job. Now, this is all the storyline for the side project, but she recently got a job where she's a side character in a Japanese drama. She's playing the American best friend that left the country and came back. So she's showing some behind the scenes content and stuff like that. And she was showcasing how, you know, they did her in CGI as a younger version of herself. And, you know, she's just very energetic. So that becomes her story. And people have grown to love that because, that, you know, she feels relatable. You know, the one that didn't connect well with other people was, although she was a much, shall we say, although she was a much more sensual character, she didn't connect well with the audience because she was more of a high-class, high-society party girl. You know, she's got that old money. She's always got professional equipment everywhere, you know. But her shots are always like beautiful, airbrushed and stuff like that. So she looks good. She looks very beautiful. But surprisingly, she did not resonate as well as the lady that was just, you know, really excited and energetic about her role and stuff. Even though it was a minor role, she's like posting about it, you know. So yeah, it just goes to show that at the end of the day, what people want is for the character to be relatable. Once the character is someone you can relate to, someone that you can feel, you know, is close to you in your heart, then I think that that's where, you know, things start to do well. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Like I said, the whole project underwent, although the project only launched last week, within the first week, we already had to make so many changes because, the original plan didn't work. The original plan, and in a weird, twisted way, I realized that the original plan was a TFD plan. The original plan was to have all these really, really sexy individuals, you know, doing some shit, and you know, we were going to sell on the basis of appeal. Oh, thank you, Baron. I will definitely do some heavy Viking stuff later after I do some more other stuff. We were planning to sell on appeal. But I realized that if I did that, I would end up like TFD. So we made the switch to more like character-based storylines and more like slice of life. But when we made the switch to slice of life and more like storylines, we realized that people connected so much more with the characters and began to genuinely enjoy their lives and their lifestyle. So although we are realizing that some characters are popular and some characters are not, it feels like, hey, you know, we're pulling something off here. You know, we're really pulling something off here, and that is what has truly excited me and made me want to spend more time on this project. And that's why I've been taking a bit of my stream time out so I can get a couple of things done. Now we're gonna play a little more hip hop, guys, mostly because I've really been enjoying this this hip hop that I've been doing. I'm actually gonna need your feedback because I've got this song called Chopper Season. I've got two versions of this song. I'm gonna need your help. I need you to tell me whether version 1 or version 2 is better. All right, then we'll play some heavy Viking stuff after. So let's have a bit of a radio break. I'm going to need your help, guys. If you guys are still here, you know, watching my chat, and you guys are willing to help out with the music, please tell me which of these 2 hip-hop songs sound better to you. This is version 1 of Chopper Season. Have a listen.
Chopper Season. Element 14. Lock and load. Y'all ain't ready. Yo, chop it up, never let it drop. Flows automatic. Clip extended bars suspending, lead the whole block static. Multi-stacking like Tetris, complex, no average. Wordplay surgical. Scalpels only, I'm the fucking medic. Step in the cypher, temperature spike, they all panic. Ghost rider in the flesh, did a scene in the wreck. I don't chase trends, I create the wave, they all mimic. Precision time, every line on the landmine, they get finished. I don't fold under pressure, I reload and I flourish. Turn the booth to a war zone, every bar gets demolished. They study the flow, but the blueprints stay encrypted. I'm a glitch in the matrix, whole game got corrupted. It's Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Running through the beat, no breathing. Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Element 14, I'm the reason. Chopper Season. I don't pause, I don't breathe, I just murder the rhythm. Every bar headshot, no vest. They can't hide from the wisdom. Underground warlord, crown forged in the fire. Yeah, they study the case, but the sauce is copyright expired. Script mid bar, leave them lost in the pattern. Double time switch up, still clear. No slurring, no scatter. They want the smoke, I bring the flame and the thunder. Top up in my hand, turn the dreams into #1 blunder. Split venom in 16, lead the competition on. I do features for clout, I do damage and I'm done. Every syllable a weapon, every punchline a body. They talk heavy in the comments, but in person they all copy. You feel that pressure rising? The whole gang feeling it. No escape, no breaks. This is war. Back with the vengeance, third verse, even more relentless. I don't just rap, but I set the game like a forensic. Every scheme in the world be complex like a Rubik. They twist and they turn, but the features stay perfect. I'm the glitch they can't patch, the virus they can't delete. Street poke with the heat, every line a masterpiece. They want the old way back, sorry that shit already sailed. I'm the new standard now, every other rapper derail. From the shadows I emerge, now the spotlight can't contain me. Chopper Season forever, this energy never draining. This Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Running through the beat, no breathing. Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Element 14, I'm the reason. Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Chopper Season. Element 14, still undefeated. Chopper Season forever.
All right, that was version 1, and no, that's not me, okay? That is not me. I do have a music business. If you guys are interested, you can support my label, SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever. That was version 1 of Chopper Season. I'll play version 2 shortly, but, you know, I basically make all these songs. I write all the songs. The voice is generated with AI, but I do a lot of the musical arrangements myself, and I do a lot of the editing myself. So yeah, basically I use AI tools to produce songs like this, but I do all the writing and everything like that. All the editing, it's all done by me. So the rap was written by me. So yeah, I just don't rap it myself. I'd rather let, you know, a proper voice do it. Now, please allow me to play version 2. That was version 1. I know version 1 was hot, but I want to see between version 1 and version 2, which is better. Here's version 2. Same song.
Element 14. Lock and load, go. Y'all ain't ready. Chop it up, never let it drop. The flow is automatic. Clip extended bars suspended, lead the whole block static. Multi-stacking like Tetris, complex, no average. Wordplay, surgical, scalpels only. I'm fucking medic. Step in the cipher, temperature spike, they all panic. Ghost rider in the flesh, lead a scene in the wreck. I don't chase trends, I create the wave. They all mimic. Precision time, every line a landmine to get finished. I don't fold under pressure. I reload and I flourish. Turn the booth to a war zone, every bar gets demolished. They study the flow, but the blueprints stay encrypted. I'm the glitch in the matrix, whole game got corrupted. It's Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Running through the beat, no breathing, no breathing, no breathing, no breathing, no breathing. Chopper Season, Chopper Season. Element 14, I'm the reason. Chopper Season. I don't pause, I don't breathe, I just murder the rhythm. Every Every bar headshot, no vest. They can't hide from no wisdom. Underground warlord, crown forged in the fire. They study the taste, but the sauce is copyright. Right, expired. After the script, mid-bar, leave them lost in the pattern. Double time switch up, still clear. No slurring, no scatter. They want the smoke, I bring the flame and the thunder. Chopper in my hand, turning dreams into number. One blunder, spit venom in 16s, lead the competition. I don't do features for clout. I do damage and I'm done. Every syllable a weapon, every punchline a body. They talk heavy in the comments, but in person they are copy. You feel that pressure rising? The whole gang feeling it. No escape, no breaks. This is war. Back to back with a vengeance, third verse even more relentless. I don't just rap, I dissect the game like a forensic. Every scheme interwoven, complex like a Rubik. They twist and they turn, but the picture stays perfect. I'm the glitch they can't patch, virus they can't delete. Street poet with the heat, every line a masterpiece. They want the old way back. Sorry that ship already sailed. I'm the new standard now. Every other rapper derailed. From the shadows I emerge. Now the spotlight can't contain me. Chopper season forever. This energy never draining. Chopper season. Chopper season. Running through the beat, no breathing. Chopper season. Chopper season. Element 14, I'm the reason. Chopper season. Chopper season. Chopper season. Element 14. Still undefeated. Chopper season. Forever. Chopper season. Forever. Chopper season.
There you go, it's chopper season. So, I know Lewis preferred 1. I personally like 1, but, you know, I see Emma and Baron preferred 2. I'll probably release both versions eventually, but it's good to know. It's just good to know that people are feeling both. So yeah, if it made you feel like getting into a fight, good. Oh, I always have a few versions of the tracks because sometimes they're just so good, you know, you don't know what to do with them. But anyway, thank you guys for your feedback. If anyone's got any other feedback, you know, Dario says 1, yeah. 1's pretty damn good. Some people like the chaos because 2 is a bit more chaotic. 1 was more smooth. So yeah, I feel that. This is why it's so hard for me to decide on tracks because like I make these tracks and it's the same writing, but you know, like sometimes the AI voice just hits so hard on 2 of them that I'm like, Yeah, I like, although sometimes like some people think the second version is better, realistically they're just 2 different generations. So some people will like the first as well. So it can be very hard for me to decide. But yeah, if 2 hit harder, good. Thank you for the feedback. You know, I'm probably still gonna keep both versions anyway, but yeah, it's good to know. It's good to know what people are thinking. I like to know what the audience thinks. It really helps with a lot of my musical creations. I think I did when you sent it to me, yeah. But me personally, Baron, I actually like a bit of, like, some chaos is good, but it's gotta be like controlled chaos, you know? Mostly for the second one, I did a bit more on the echoes. So like you'll notice that there's a bit of like the, you know, like when a DJ does that, I don't know the proper term because I just do it in the thing, but when they do have that little bit of a rewind, you know, this like a glitchy skip kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I actually added to it. So there's a bit of that. Like he repeats the line, you know, like the track electronically repeats the line. That's what I did mostly for the second one. And also we had a bit more like chaotic elements in that one. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna just play a little bonus for you guys. All right, this is just an extra bonus. I still haven't actually worked out anything. Because I'm probably, this track is probably not gonna make it into the album, but we're gonna play a little bonus before we go off and play Baron's heavy metal Viking stuff. All right, so here's just a random bonus for you guys. Like I said, I haven't really worked on this one. I don't really like the track, but yeah, because it's slower.
This ain't a phase. It's a whole mentality. Bandit mentality. Element 14.
Element 14.
Yeah, bandit mentality. I was built different from the jump. No excuses, no apologies, just results when I hunt. From the sink where I was drowning, learned to breathe underwater. Now I move like a shadow, silent, surgical, no chatter. They chase the bag, I chase the whole empire and the power. Calculate every step, never move off emotion or the hour. Cold to the world, the bro still dreaming about that mink. I'm past the flash, I'm the architect of the brink. Feds on the block, cameras twitching at the corner light. I just laugh in the rear view, they ain't built for this type of fight. Bandit in the flesh, city on my wanted poster. Every breath I take feel like I'm stealing time from the oppressor. Bandit mentality, mentality, mentality. No rules, no mercy, just
you guys like it?
that we follow.
I don't know, it didn't feel that strong to me.
If you ain't with the code, better step back and swallow.
What, you guys like this stuff? If you like it, I'll put it in the album.
We reload, we the law in these shadows.
I thought it was too slow.
They tried to box me in, I turned the box to a war room. Got it to the blueprint, now the plan. Got the whole crew zoom. 380s on the coat, when the code different. Fur on my shoulders, but the ice in my veins consistent. Jetted from the fake love, now weaponize the silence. Every day can't stand it, turned into quiet defiance. Same old voice, but the flavor got that outlaw precision. New face in the mirror, still paying the same old tuition. No easy pack, no easy way, no easy crown. Either you live a mentality or you watch from the ground. They want the old me back, buried them with the weak. Now the new me, walking tall,
Fair enough.
whole block under my feet. Hold up, sometimes the mirror stares back like, damn it. God damn it, is this really the life you demanded? From drowning in the sink to running the whole damn planet. Yeah, I chose the code, now the code chose me permanent. Mentality, mentality. No rules, no mercy, just the code that we follow. Mentality. If you ain't with the code, better step back and swallow. Bandit. We don't fold, we reload, we the law in these shadows.
Bandit mentality.
Element 14. Still with the antics, but the cold louder than the static.
Element 14.
Yeah.
Bandit mentality.
Alright, well, I might release it as a bonus track anyway. I don't usually delete my works, but... Good to know that some of y'all like the deeper stuff. Me personally, I was trying to aim for more of the faster stuff, because that's what I personally like. I like it when it's fast. But I do agree with the statement that sometimes when it's slower, it can feel deeper, a bit more personal. You know, like you said, it hits the bone. So you're not wrong on that. You're not wrong on that at all. Okay, now let me head back to Albion for a second, and I'm gonna go search for the Viking stuff. I really need to bring the Viking stuff into the new model. Once I do, I can finally actually make an album for poor Baron. He's been waiting for Viking heavy metal for a long time. Well then, this is the right place for you, because I'm always making new music. Alright. Here's something that never got released. Just for Baron. Someday, though, I will get back to it. I will get back to it and make some actual... and make an actual Viking metal track. Now, for those of you that don't like the heaviest of metal, you might want to cover your ears. And if you cover your ears, well, too bad. But anyway, let's go. One second. Sorry, this is not the version with screaming. My apologies. This is better. Because Baron likes his heavy screaming. No heavy screaming, Baron cannot be satisfied. There we go. There we go. That's the Viking heavy metal for you. But yeah, if you're not the deep voice screams, those are gutturals. So that one is more what Baron's into. I think if you're into screams but not that, it's probably going to be more similar to yeah, like metalcore screamo. Funnily enough, I was actually messing with a song like that. It's got a lot of glitchy stuff which Baron might like. Here, I'll play it. I was just messing around with electronics and metal screamo, and this is what came out. See you later, Emma.
Shattered pieces on the floor, echoes of the man I was before. Carry ghosts for way too long. Now these chains are almost gone. I've been running from the pain, lost inside the pouring rain. Here I am, standing in the light. Here I am, after every fight. Here I am, finally breathing free. No more hiding who I'm meant to be. Every scar tells stories still of the battles and the bitter pills, but I'm learning how to let it go, finding beauty in the afterglow. The past can't hold me anymore. I'm stepping through an open door. Here I am, standing in the light. Here I am, after every fight. Here I am, finally breathing free. No more hiding who I'm meant to be. When the darkness calls my name, I won't be broken by the flame. With every breath, with every scream, this is my truth, this is my dream. Here I am, louder than before. Here I am, ready for so much more. Here I am, with my heart open wide. Here I am.
I was actually hoping that Austin would enjoy that one. Because I never really make electronic stuff most of the time. And I was like, you know what? I actually had like a couple of ideas. And I was like, let's put it all together. Because that time that I made Heartbanger, and I'm still working on their album, you guys really liked the sort of higher singing voice mixed with the screams that he could do. And I was like, what if I did that but messed around with some electronic stuff, you know? But yeah, it was just an interesting little experiment that I had. I don't know if it'll even be a regular thing. It's just, it doesn't even have a kind of like velvet teeth. It's just a sort of a solo track that's just drifting around there. But you never know. I mean, maybe in future I could actually like pull it together and make something of it. I don't know, but it was just fun to work on. It was fun to create and work on for a while. So that was just a little interesting extra little bitty there that I had. But yeah, it worked out. Okay, let's take a look at the polls before we carry on. So far, we've had 149 votes. The April 16th update fix, will it fix TFD? 17% think it's a big step forward. 23% say it's still just bandaids, lol. 37% say it's too early to tell. And 23% says it needs way more than this. Hello, Brandon. Okay. Now. Thank you for your feedback, brother. Yeah, it was a good experiment, though. I have to say, it was a very good experiment. Had a good bit of fun with it. Like I said, I can't say if I continue to work on it, but for me at least, because Heartbanger actually is solidified already, and this one has a lot of similarities, so I'm not 100% sure if I'd pull out the same thing, but, you know, I'm an open-minded kind of person. Sometimes I like to save the tracks because you never know what's going to actually come out, you know, in future. And maybe in future, I might want to do something with it. So I'm just keeping it chill for now. Just keeping it Mount Kilimanjaro, and we'll see how that goes. See whether it can go Denny Phantom. To the sirens, we rise from the panic. Hearts full of fire, still caught in panic. Touch the point, dark window, to the siren. Okay, delete all this crap, which we don't need. And we're Gucci for now. Okie dokie day. Let's see. But yeah, the big winner in the polls is still too early to tell. So it seems to me that most people are saying it's too early to tell how this is going to go. You know, hopefully it will continue to work. But I just hope that whatever they do on 16th will actually help fix some problems with this game. I'm going to restart the game because some people are telling me that there is an actual update to this game. Not sure if there is, but I will try and see whether or not there really is anything hot fixed. Well, nothing wrong with you know, good little bit of a good little bit of, shall we say, optimism. But, well, if it doesn't turn out well, I hope they have another plan. Okay, now it's starting up. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we get. I did hear that today's so-called update is going to change. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but they said it was going to change how the roles worked or whatever. So let's have a look. See. Well, whenever you're ready to come back, you shall be welcomed. Maybe a little bit to the left, brother. One second. Gotta type fast, gotta get shit done, you know? Gotta get shit done. Okay, I wanted to try something. Since the discussions have slowed down now, right? I wanna use the time that I have right now to sample some stuff. These tracks generated with about a 1 minute difference in delivery, so I need to see. I need to understand why.
From the gutter, straight to the rocket. Woo! No looking back. Element 14. Let's go! Pedal to the rocket. Yeah. Gutter to the rocket, I was never meant to stay down. Drowning in the sink, now I'm light years from the playground. Cold to the world, look bro, still need that mink coat. But I flipped the whole script, now the team wearing custom cloaks. Hatchback days, selling packs on the bank, no cap. Turn nothing into empire, watch the money do the back flaps. They laugh when I started, now they tryna hitch the ride. I just hit the gas, hard a middle finger to the sky. They said I couldn't do it, said I never leave the block. Now I'm blasting off the pavement, hear the engines when I talk. No parachute, no safety net, just faith in the plot. Got it to the rocket, watch me take the whole damn spot. Got it to the rocket. Take Take off, no stop it. No stop.
Fair enough.
We never coming down, we just launch it to the top. Yeah, heavy on the gas, middle finger to the eye. If you with the movement, scream it till the speakers pop. Ever since that pack flip, whole life did a launch sequence. From the east side tunnels where the fiends lost their dreams quick. 3 880s on the coast when the cold tried to freeze me fur. Heavy on my shoulders, but the fire in my chest keep me jaded from the hate. Now I use it as propulsion. Every day can't stand it, turned into extra combustion. Same old voice, but the flavor got that outlaw ignition. New face in the mirror, still paying the same old tuition. No easy pack, no easy way, no easy crown. Either you blast off with me, or you watch from the ground. Bandit in the cockpit, city on my wanted list. I was born in the fight, now the fire is my spaceship. Hold up, sometimes I look back like, damn it, god damn it, how we really made it off the planet. From drowning in the sink to touching down on Saturn. Yeah, it's the life, now the life doing patterns. To the rocket, rocket, take off, no stop it, no stop, no stop. To the rocket, rocket, we ain't never coming down, we just launching to the top. Rocket, yeah, rocket, heavy on the gas, middle finger to the eye. If you with the movement, scream it till the speakers pop. Element 14, still with the answers. We ain't never coming down.
Not bad, not bad. That was the 3-minute one. Now I want to see what happened with the 2-minute one. I want to see why they generated 1 minute apart. That usually doesn't happen. So hopefully it's not a flaw in my production technique. Because I'm pretty sure the set of instructions that I gave them, although it varied, is still roughly consistent.
From the gutter, straight to the rocket. No looking
Damn,
back.
Baron. Hardcore loyalty.
Element 14. Gutter to the rocket, I was never meant to stay down. Drowning in the sink, now I'm light years from the playground. Cold to the world, little bro, still need that mink coat.
Oh, this is
But I
much
flipped the whole
faster.
script, now the team wearing custom clothes. Hatchback days, selling packs off the back, no cap. Turn nothing into empire. Watch the money do the backflaps. They laughed when I started, now they tryna hitch the ride. I just hit the gas harder, middle finger to the sky. They said I couldn't do it, said I'd never lead a block. Now I'm blasting off the pavement, hit it engines when I saw. No parachute, no safety nets, faith and the plot. Gutter to the rocket, watch me take the whole damn spot. Gutter to the rocket, take off, no stop it. No stop. Gutter to the rocket, we ain't never coming down, we just launch it to the top. Rocket, yeah, rocket, heavy on the gas, middle finger to the ops. Gutter to the rocket, if you with the movement, screaming to the speakers pop. Ever since that pack flip, whole life did a launch sequence. From the east side tunnels where the fiends lost their dreams quick. 380s on the coat when the cold tried to freeze me. Fur heavy on my shoulders, but the fire on my chest keep me. Judge from the hate, now I use it as propulsion. Every day can stand it, turn into extra combustion. Same old voice, but the flavor got the outlaw ignition. New face in the mirror, still paying the same old tuition. No easy pack, no easy way, no easy crown. Either you blast off of me or you watch from the ground. Bandit in the cockpit, city on my wanted list. I was born in the fire, now the fire is my spaceship. Hold up, sometimes I look back like, damn it, god damn it, how we really made it off the planet. From drowning in the sink to touching down on Saturn. Yeah, it's the life, not a life doing patterns. Gutter to the rocket, take off, no stop it. Gutter to the rocket, we ain't never coming down, we just launch to the top. Rocket, yeah, rocket, heavy on the gas, middle finger to the ops. Gutter to the rocket, if you with the movement, screaming to the speakers. Element 14, still with the antics. We ain't never coming down.
Interesting generation overall. Okay.
Subduing the target.
I'm gonna try and mess around with some of the other stuff that I've been cooking up as well. Time to multiply my time. Although, honestly, we've had some great discussions today, though. I really thank everybody for contributing their opinions. It's been really interesting hearing what everybody had to say, and I liked a lot of the great ideas, but hopefully, you know, after all these conversations we've had, I pray to God that they actually listen to us. If we could finally get some more engaging content here, then hey, maybe all the people off playing other games might actually come back. Damn, that sounds wild, bro. Sounds to me like you got some serious cheaters out there.
Shield damage. Beginning target neutralization.
Well, I hope they get shut down at least. Duplicates and exploits are not always fun. I'll be real with you, Funcom is not the best at a lot of things right now. Like I said, I'm actually a Funcom partner, but kind of like with Saber Interactive, I have never been enthused about anything related to them. So I signed up for their program, but nothing came of it. But I do hope they fix your stuff. It's never fun when your stuff doesn't work. Okay. I'm gonna try and actually cook this while I'm live. Might work out. Hey, do whatever works for you, man. But even helping others has a limit. I'll say that much. You can't do it forever, and that's kind of the problem. We all want this game to be great. But the boredom and repetitiveness is very real. I mean, me personally, I'm already bored. I've been running this mission for a while, and other than talking to you guys, what else is there to do? Like right now, I'm cooking some of my tracks in the background, you know, chilling, and just later I'm thinking about, you know, working on my animations and art. So, well, they're not gonna scrap the game, but instead of adding a new season of the same stuff, they need to add a new season of different stuff. That's what we're all trying to say with these. The problem that we have right now is that they keep adding the same shit over and over and over again. It's boring. By the time they make a change, it's 2 months later and nobody cares anymore, you see? So, like I was saying earlier, the big issue that these guys are facing is that they're not doing things fast enough. When we highlight a problem, they need to fix that problem straight away. And what they're not fixing is the core problem. The core problem is that every mission is the same. The core problem is that every single mission they've ever made is literally all the same shit in a different package, and that's not helpful or fun for anyone. It just makes everybody feel like this is bullshit. What we want is for this game to reach its full potential, but to do that, it needs to start by, like I said earlier in the stream, it needs to start by engaging the player base, which it's not doing right now. If they can engage the player base, and what that means is that they need to get attention. They need to make people feel like, man, I really wish I was playing TFD right now. Because this whole time, we have not felt that way even once.
Approaching.
And that's the issue. We don't feel that way. We feel like, man, I'm just doing some chores. Once they're done for the week, I'm good, you know? When your player base feels that way, the game is sunk. And that's exactly the problem they have. That's why, like, there's all this end of service talk. Now, they've assured the players that there's not going to be end of service. But their numbers continue to fall on Steam. And it doesn't matter how many people crow false positivity on, you know, X or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. People can talk about false positivity, how beautiful the girls look forever. But it won't help. No, this is Season 3. Their seasons are every 3 months, and they have delayed seasons so many times that we're still on Season 3. Yeah.
Eliminating.
So we had Season 0, Season 1, then Season 2, then Season 2, Episode 2, then Season 3, then this is now Season 3, Episode 2. So there you go.
Shield damage.
Oh, that sucks, Baron. Always sucks to meet players like that. Like I said, right now, all I'm doing is just messing around with some music in the background. So, in fact, let me hear my new track. Let me see what it sounds like.
Yeah, temperature dropping. But the coast stay dripping. 380s and fur coats. Element 14. Let's destroy this. Yeah, 380s wrapped tight. Fur coat looking like a blizzard hit. Stepped out the foreign, whole block froze up when the engine spit. Iced out, chain swinging. That's the frost on the window tint. Used to grind in the tunnels, now I'm flying with no limit. Flip the packs that the racks turn the winner into profit. Haters talking heavy, but they pockets staying modest. I move like a ghost in the snow, no footprints, no gossip. Outlaw and designer, every step cost the deposit. Cold world, warm cold. Still spitting lava when I talk. Machine gun flow, lead the beat in the body chop. They want the smoke, I deliver it in mink and frost. 380s on my back while I'm running up the cost. 380s and fur coats. 380s and fur coats. Let's go. Temperature dropping, but the bag keep rising. 380s and fur coats. Stack it, flip it, never stop it grinding. 380s and fur coats. If you ain't draped in the finest, you ain't really with the movement. Stop lying. Every season I upgrade, new fur, new armor. Same smoky voice, but the delivery getting harder. Bend it in the mink, turn the block to a catwalk slaughter. Haters watching from the sideline, freezing in their own water. No easy come up, every dollar got a story written. From the gutter to the fur, now the vision crystal clear, no limits. They jaded for they memory, now they tryna copy the image. I just laugh at the blunt, blow the smoke like a finished sentence. Luxury but the menace, fur heavy but the flow light. Rapid fire, chopper lead the beat, looking frostbite. 380 sitting pretty while the city stay cold. Element 14, winter king, never fall. Hold up, damn it, goddamn it, look what the code created. From nothing to Drake than the finest. Now they all activated. Still with the antics, but the coke game elevated. Yeah. 380s and fur coats. 380s and fur coats. Let's go. Temperature dropping, but the bag keep rising. 380s and fur coats. Stack it, flip it, never stop the grinding. 380s and fur coats. If you ain't draped in the finest, you ain't really with the movement. Stop lying. 380s and fur coats. Element 14. Still destroying. Win a champion.
Not bad. Hey, you know, you're kind of right about that with these. Like, when it comes to PvP, I think the biggest problem is not that they didn't want to implement it, is that I think they realized that there was a lot of difficulty in trying to convert their systems because they already struggle with PvE. Oh, I know you guys would like this one because it's faster, but I need to see like all the sample generations and all that. And story-wise, you know, it would be good if they went through it with partners, but they don't pay us enough for that kind of stuff. They don't pay us at all. If we were actually paid or incentivized to work with them, we might help them come up with more ideas, you know? So yeah. The thing is, I don't feel enthused and incentivized to be a proper partner for this game because they're not paying me for my time. I feel that they should. You know, if you see value in somebody, you pay them straight away. That's the way the world operates. But I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe they're just confident, but look at where their confidence got them. If they actually, like, you know, worked on things and got outside perspective, then maybe their game would work out a lot better, because for the longest time, they've been doing nothing but listening to yes men. They've been doing nothing but listening to people who only tell them, yes, yes, everything's good. That's not what you want.
Viewing the target.
When you only listen to the people telling you yes, and you don't listen to people telling you no, that's when you have a situation like this. Like when people say, you know, this track isn't so great, I agree with them. Because I want to deliver to my people only the very best. I don't shy from that. Now, of course, sometimes if I think a track is good regardless, I'll still put it out. But the fact of the matter is, I feel that somebody needs to, you know, they need to step up and say, hey, you know, maybe it's time we started listening to some criticism and not just the whiners. Maybe it's time we actually listen to some of the people saying, don't nerf your hard content, keep the hard content. Keep the game, you know, innovating. Keep innovating. Don't make everything dumbed down and the same, because right now the problem is that Void Erosion Purge, all the missions, which I will highlight happily in my video tomorrow, every mission is exactly the same. So what's the point? What is the actual point? Because there is none. Tomorrow in my video talking about all this, I will actually like step up and say, hey, I think we have a problem. Because I do. I think we have a problem. I think we've got a serious one. I think we have a very, very serious problem. And that problem is the simple fact that what is going on in this game is, to me at least, not healthy. It's not healthy for long-term survival, because when everything feels the same, you just play for a while, you play until you get bored, and then you get bored, and then you go. You play something else. And that's what happens over and over and over and over again. That's what happens time and time and time again, because that's the reality of it. I don't think there's anybody on the planet that would be willing to play the same stuff over and over again.
Approaching.
And although some people have brought up the concept of repetitiveness and the fact that it's, you know, other games also have repetitive content, the fact of the matter is repetitiveness and engagement are not mutually exclusive. You can have something that's repetitive but engaging, in which case people don't mind repeating it. Think about Slay the Spire 2. It's the same 3 acts over and over again, but the roguelike element keeps people coming back. You know, you don't know what you're going to get during the run. You're going to try and draft the best possible deck. Sometimes it works out in your favor. You get some great cards that's going to make it all work, and then sometimes you just end up in the gutter. You know?
Beginning target visualization. Target acquired. Approaching. There's no escape.
I fully agree. You need to always listen to people who actually play your game and actually want it to succeed. A lot of the time, I think that they don't do that out of fear, because the ones who are the noisiest, who are complaining every day on Reddit, are the people that say stuff like, oh, this game is too hard, need to change this mode, it's not fun. It's like, but the game becoming easier is not fun either. You know? Fun comes from engagement, not from the difficulty of a task. A task can be difficult, overwhelming even. On Crimson Desert, you have to basically look up every single thing, just like Elden Ring. right? You gotta find and figure out every single goddamn thing. But is that a problem? No. No, it's not. Not at all. Because that's what fun is in those types of games. That's what fun is. You looked up something, you know, you learn how to figure out the puzzle, you spread the knowledge to other people, and everybody's playing and having a great time no matter how challenging it is, because that's what we enjoy. Same thing for Crimson Desert, same thing for Elden Ring, same thing for any of these other games out there. And what is happening here is that by making a lot of content super easy, they're not enhancing their player base nor enhancing their experience. They're just making the whole game worse, which is not where we should be at. No, I refuse to work with them. If they want me, they can pay me like they should have done from the very freaking start. I'm not gonna go apply. I ain't no beggar. I've got my own projects and shit. For me, there's no point in me applying here. Once this thing dies, I'll just move on to something else, you know? Sure, it might be an unstable few months, but I'm the type of man that you know, just doesn't care about that, because I know I'm gonna be here doing this. This is the thing that I want to do with my rest of my life, you know? So rather than them hiring me or me applying to them, they need to actually sit down and say, hey, maybe it's about time we listened, maybe not just to me, but how about they actually listen to the people in the comments of my videos? Because I've made several videos already talking about these issues, opening up about these issues, and other people have taken the time to comment on those videos. You know, they've actually spoken about all these things and commented their thoughts and all that kind of stuff. And this is where they need to start listening. They need to actually sit down and listen, because if they don't sit down and listen, then they're going to end up in a situation where they're not going to be very happy. All right? And that's where they're headed right now. That's where they're going, because this is the fate that they've made for themselves. They listen to the people that are telling them, oh, honey, oh, precious, you're doing so good. You know, don't listen to the haters. You shut them out, because guess what? Everything's going to be fine. Everything is going to be good. Everything's going to be A-okay. It's not going to be A-okay. It is not A-okay. And it will never be A-okay, because this is the problem. When we finally actually have a game that is worth playing, that is when people will stop complaining. You don't stop complaints by drowning them out. You stop complaints by addressing the issues being complained about. That's where they're going wrong. And that's where they continue to go wrong. I hope that they will actually listen to their player base for once. When they do, I tell you, life is good. And they're going to have a great time. When they don't, life is not going to be good. And they aren't going to have a great time at all. Now let me swap over to this. Still need to finish off that last core, but we're doing all right. Okay, on to the Colossus Wall Crasher. Hello, Vengeance Man. Lurk away. There's nothing wrong with that. We all welcome to lurk. I agree with that statement because it's the truth. They have not done a single thing that, in my opinion, is innovative or that would, completely flip this game around. They haven't. And they won't. Because to do that, they first need to address the core issue. The core issue is that none of their content right now engages anybody. It does not excite anybody or make them want to play the game. That's where they've gone wrong. They've gone wrong because what they're doing is not making people feel like, oh, damn, I'm missing out if I don't play TFD right now. No, everybody's all like, I'll log in for my free reward, and you know what? That's good enough. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. That is the current situation that they have. And that's reality. Like I said, whether people want to hear it or not, that's the reality. And that will always be the reality. Like it, hate it, anything in between, don't matter. I want them, as I've said before, I want them to succeed. I believe genuinely that they can. But for them to succeed, they have to want it first. I'm going to tell you honestly, Paul Bros, Onslaught Mode is going to be absolutely a failure, in my personal opinion. I think it's going to be as boring as the rest of their gameplay. I hope I'm wrong. Because all I've seen them advertise for it is an endless game mode that is going to be boring. Super boring. Now, they could change this. They're going to have a live stream on the 14th that could completely flip our opinions. I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to wait for that because I feel that that is one of the only things that might change my opinion on this. But I think that it's not the challenge factor that's missing. No, it's the engagement factor. Things can be easy but engaging. Things can also be challenging but engaging. The problem is that what people are craving is not necessarily challenge. We don't necessarily want something that's hard for the sake of being hard. I feel that what is really missing is engagement. We are not being... our needs are not being met. We don't feel excited to play. So when you don't really achieve anything with your gameplay, or you don't feel excitement in the gameplay itself, this is where you lack engagement. It's why in the video that I put out, I literally said, learn from more successful games. If they can transform their maps into a Helldiver-esque game mode, right? Everybody and their grandmother would be playing that because people are still playing Helldivers to this very day. Everybody loves Helldivers too. It's by no means doing badly. As I said in my video, remove the barriers between these and then you have a whole ass map that people can run around. You can put objectives anywhere on the map, put in like some kind of stalker system or whatever. I mean, call it what you want, but you could literally just call it a stalker system where a specialized enemy can interfere with your mission or things like that. And bada bing, bada boom, you've got a great game mode. You can call it a third difficulty, like, you can call it Sung Jin Woo difficulty, but just that alone would give people a reason to play. Make Albion feel like it's actually at war rather than, I just did this mission, you know what, I'm good. Albion will never change. There'll never be any threat. It'll never die, Even in Helldivers 2, Super Earth got attacked. We don't do that here. We don't get attacked. Albion never is under siege. Albion is just super peaceful. The rest of the world, is complete war zone. We don't feel like we're at war. We feel like we're all at home, chilling in the lounge, taking a break from farming. We're just farmers. Yep. A game can be challenging. A game can be anything under the sun. It can be. And that's okay. But what we are continuing to miss, and what is missing from this game, plain and simple, is the fact that we do not have anything actually worth playing for. What do we have that is worth playing for? There are no stakes. There's no feeling of life. There is no life at all. And that's where we've all gone wrong. When this game feels alive, living, breathing, that's when we have a difference. That's when we have something that actually changes. But this game does not feel alive. There's no breathing. There's no breath. It just is. And a game that just is nothing. So I'm genuinely hoping it'll change. I'm genuinely hoping they will alter this and alter the path they're on. Because we keep going in this way. You know, we won't exactly be having a lot of good fun. Exactly. They aren't at all being besieged. It's not a war situation. You know? I don't feel like I'm at war. And when I don't feel like I'm at war, what am I fighting for? Now, please give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna have to actually take a look at something. Because I'd actually filled in this form a while back, and for some reason it never got back to me. So I'm gonna fill in my form again. You know? But okay. Since they wanna do this. Okay. Okay. All right. I have sent in my work email. Told them to respond to me. Zero answer, but whatever. Well, you know, coming back to the point before I end this stream, you know, you guys are right. This game had a lot of potential at the beginning, but why it lost its potential and why it flopped so hard was entirely their own fault. Not only did they listen to crybabies and whiners and nerf the heavy content as soon as they would introduce difficult content, they would nerf it down, right? So that's problem number one. Problem number two is that in addition to nerfing that content, they basically streamline all of their content so that it's exactly the same. Whether you're doing, and again, this will be covered in my video, but if you guys check out the video that I will be having tomorrow, or if you guys actually saw the stream that I did where I talked about every single mission being the same, that's exactly the problem we have right now. Whether you're doing any of these 4 missions right here, all right, every single mission here, whether it's Supermassive Receptor, Forbidden Sanctuary, all right, Exposed Underwater Base, or Legion Laboratory, it's all the same. It's exactly the same mission where you just rush through, kill the boss at the end, get your stuff, go, do it again. That is what happened 4 times. 4 mission updates, and that's all we got. Didn't matter whether it was Ultimate Eugen, didn't matter whether it was Dia, it was the same damn mission every single time. Yes, the missions have a variation, 2 variations. One left path, one right path, but that is far from a procedurally generated dungeon. It doesn't engage you because once you know how it goes, you know, you play the entire mission on autopilot. We turn our brains off and we just play the game. That's the problem. That's the problem because that's not what you want to do. If you just turn your brain off and play the game every single time, then you're not engaged. You don't feel like you're actually playing the game. It just becomes a mind-numbingly boring task. If they change this, if they alter this, if they actually make missions or Albion feel like it's at war, if they actually make the game engaging, they will 100% save their game. I'm not saying they have to get rid of the content that they've done already. I'm saying they should, instead of worrying about new content or building something new every single time, you know, adding another game mode, instead of that, why don't they use what they already have? Add the 3rd difficulty, open up the whole area, make it an operation, you know, with multiple objectives, Helldivers style. Give us an actual threat to face. Make Albion feel like it's actually being threatened. Because it does not at all feel like it's being threatened. It does not feel like it's under threat at all. It does not even feel like there's anything scary going on. It just feels like I'm at home right now and I'm just going to go kick ass whenever I feel like it. And when I'm bored, I can just sit at home all day and nothing will go wrong. Because that's the problem. Even in Helldivers 2, when some operations were so freaking crazy, everybody in the community would band together to literally spam level 1s and get liberation. And it worked. There were times when liberation would just drop by, you know, percentages over percentages, and you knew it was because everybody and their grandmother at that time was literally sitting down, you know, and trying to get the maximum amount of liberation. That was reality. But whether this game will do it or not, let's see. Again, let's see how Onslaught works out. If you take a look at the polls, after about 167 votes, I'm just going to end the poll right here because people have had their time to have their say. Most of the comments were in the early part of the stream, but let's take a look at the polls right here. What people have said is very clear. It's too early to tell whether the April 16th update will fix TFD. There's some positive sentiment and some negative sentiment, but 23% still say no, it's just a band-aid fix. 22% say it needs way more than this, and that's a good 45% of the player base saying, hang on, you know, this needs some shit done. And 17% said yes, it's a big step forward. So 17% are the believers, they're the positive ones, believing that this game might actually make something happen. Let's see. Let's see. Fingers crossed, yeah? All right. Thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope you guys have had a great time with us. All right. It's been a pleasure playing this game for you, talking with you, sharing my music with you. I will see you guys on the next one. Don't do anything too weird while I'm gone. All right. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for even more shenanigans. See you later, fam. And y'all have a good one. Bye.